the saga of Cardinal George Pell remains a big issue. This was trial by media gone very bad. I thought I'd show you some ABC coverage of the original guilty verdict and then compare it to the acquittal. Let's start just over a year ago.
From cardinal to criminal, George Pell has fallen far.
Well, outside the courtroom in Melbourne, survivors and advocates have celebrated the guilty verdict. Many have waited for years to see the nation's most senior Catholic brought to justice.
George Pell leaves court, his conviction no longer a secret. Some outside the Victorian County Court call it a miracle.
We want to see him fry in hell.
Many have waited for years to see Pell brought to justice. Bear in mind, there was one complainant. Leading the ABC charge was investigative journalist Louise Milligan, who left viewers in no doubt about what she thought of anyone who disagreed with the verdict.
And I hope that some of the toxic commentary that we've had over the past couple of weeks since the jury's decision was made public might just be tempered somewhat now that the judge has put all of this on the record. It allowed his words to cut through, the fake news.
Fake news? People who questioned a verdict in an historical case that pitted one person's word against another with no corroboration. If you questioned that, it was fake news? Extraordinary, given where we've ended up. But Milligan wasn't alone, far from it, at the ABC.
I haven't read Andrew Bolt's article, but of course the machinery for the defence of Pell is up and running. And it's an instinctive part of those who defend the church no matter what. And that is, of course, to defend Pell and therefore put the boot into the victim. It is unedifying.
Well, actually, no. Most people, most of the time, tried to be understanding and non-committal about the alleged victim. But justice, truth and all of that, some of us reckon that was kind of important too. Anyway, let's compare all that with ABC coverage this month when Pell was acquitted.
The High Court decision has wiped out 5 years of police investigations and legal proceedings. But the ruling has wounded those dedicated to supporting survivors of clerical abuse.
Just devastating after everything that's happened.
Marks the end of the criminal case. Cardinal Pell and the Catholic Church could face a fresh wave of civil action. The ABC understands at least 10 civil cases are planned, and they can go ahead in the absence of a conviction. As for the Cardinal's former standing, some think his time at the Vatican is now over.
When he turns 80, of course, like all other cardinals, he loses his vote for the Pope.
He's been found guilty in 2 court systems, and then a 3rd court system turns around and says, well, didn't say he was innocent, but said he can go home.
So no mention of miscarriage of justice, wrongful conviction, wrongful imprisonment. And watching this ABC News Bulletin, you'd be in no doubt about who the ABC thinks has been wronged.
Cardinal George Pell has spent his first night as a free man at a monastery in Melbourne. He was acquitted of child sexual abuse convictions yesterday.
Vivian Waller is the lawyer for the complainant at the centre of the case, and she joins me now from Melbourne. First of all, I need to ask, how is Witness J, your client as he was known? And I was relieved to see in the statement that no doubt you worked with him on very late last night, that he did make a point of saying, I am OK, because there'll be a lot of people who feel discouraged, I guess is the way to put it.
Not to mention those discouraged about ABC partisanship and the consequences this has for a fair trial, especially in light of reports police are conducting further investigations into Cardinal Pell. Channel 9 News here zeroes in on one of the most crucial issues.
Unlike other states, for high-profile cases in Victoria, there is currently no option for judge-only trials.
I'd have grave doubts that George Pell could get a fair trial in this state when you consider the amount of publicity that he's had. In cases involving high-profile accused, that juries are not suitable, that there should be an option for judge-alone trials.
Yes.